first ever episode, taking you guys on a journey for all things Dodgers, hanging out with Brandon, hanging out with Javen today. Literally going to be talking everything Dodgers, what it means to be a Dodgers fan, some of the cool stuff that happened last year. I'm super excited. So this is kind of a peek into the room, guys. Like, we all sit around, talk this stuff. We all hang out. We all get the hate as Dodger fans. In fact, nobody can see him, but producer Steve, massive Diamondbacks fan.
Boo.
So we're gonna let it ride and make him sit through this whole thing. But yeah, super excited to be doing this with you guys. Like, this has been a long time in the making. Some cool stuff happening. So, man, Brandon, tell us, bro, how's it going, man?
First off, Steve, like, if you didn't know how to push those buttons, you know what I mean? Like, this dude's, he's literally our rival, but he's control of our editing.
Right.
Like, that's kind of scary. Right? Like, but I get it. You can be a little brother in the NL West. You're used to that. So, no, I'm excited to be here. Like, this is long overdue. Long overdue. I don't know if anything really exists like this for true Dodger purists and just sports fans in general, business fans in general. So I'm excited. Like, you know, you're right. The Dodgers do get a lot of hate, and rightfully so, I think. But I think they've always done the right thing historically. So, yeah, ready to get into to last year and what's happening this year. Like, we're not playing no games.
Right, exactly.
We're not playing no games this year. So this is the definition of Nike's not worried about Reebok.
Right.
Yeah, so,
yeah. That's funny when you bring that up. I was literally just watching that LeBron James when he was talking about his first like deal that he was looking at doing a shoe deal, and Reebok was telling him like, hey, we're going to give you like $10 million to not sign with anybody else or take any other deals, right? And so, yeah, I mean, this is literally that. Like,
absolutely. No, I think like there's so many people, even today, you know, I got some Dodger hate just looking at some Dodger apparel, right? Like, I was like, what are you for Dodger? Yeah, man, I'm looking for some Dodger hats. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it'll be super fun. I mean, this gives us an opportunity really to take it to people, the Dodgers culture. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
That's the big thing. Like, what a lot of people outside of LA don't understand is that the Dodgers organization is a culture.
Absolutely.
Not just in baseball, but the city.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, while we were there, and we'll get into it a lot later, but just feeling the vibes around the city.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Whether you're at a Kings game, a Rams game, they're all using the LA that's on a Dodgers hat.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I love it. Like, right. Like, with the crazy part is I'm not even from LA.
Right.
I'm from Chicago. Right. So it's like, but I got to keep it real. Like, Chicago sports teams, like, we're really mad at y'all Chicago sports team. So we just support Chicago players that are in LA, just to be clear. So Anthony Davis, Pat Bev, you know, all the others. But no, I think sports is such a great thing because it brings communities together. Like, we hate Boston, right? I ain't never even been to Boston. You know, like, for real, I've never even been there. I don't like it.
I was tuned in last night to the Lakers game.
Yeah.
Just because. Yeah. Just because it was Boston. I wanted to see what Reeves was going to do.
Like, I don't like green.
Right.
Yeah. Just when I see green, I'm like, ugh.
I don't celebrate Halloween because it's orange and black like the Giants. Like,
I mean, for sure. I'm sure there's like 8 other reasons probably not to even mess with Halloween, but for sure. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think that the sports is something that brings people together, and even if there are people that don't like it, like Dodger fans who receive the hate, it makes you feel like you're exclusive, right?
Yeah.
And once you're welcomed as a part of that community, it doesn't matter, like, as a player, as a coach, as a fan, I don't think there's, you know, Dodger fans that go to being Giants fans.
Ever.
Right. No.
Right?
Listen, there's bandwagon applications to be Dodger fans. Like,
absolutely.
It takes a real dedication to this. And I mean, that's kind of the cool thing. Like, being born and raised in Southern California, like, that's all you really think about is Dodger baseball. Yeah. Like, I remember as a kid watching the '88 World Series with my grandparents, right? That was it, right? Sure. And so that's what I'm excited about with what we've got coming out right now. Like, really getting everybody a sneak peek into the culture, right? Helping people understand what's happening in baseball, right? Why it matters, why growing the sport, like, in our demos matter, like, in a real way.
Yeah, you're right. There's a generational pull to all the sports. So, no, I think that's great. And shout out to all the other media platforms that focus on Dodger stuff too as well. I think there's a lot of them you've seen over the past few years that even have their own, you know, unique style that get fans together and travel to road games, right? Like, they mob out, like, anybody who goes to sporting events. Like, this is not, we know this is not cheap. Like, people mortgage X, Y, and Z to be at these games and travel with these groups. So, like, what other team has that? Right. I don't know any other team that where there's
we're taking over cities.
Massive.
Yeah. Like we had 2 or 3 of our friends that went to Boston last year for the Dodgers game.
Oh yeah.
Like, and just mobbing down the street.
Yeah.
Blue and white.
Absolutely.
Like
and
it's
that happened last season in New York too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think during most of the playoffs last year we saw that, right? We saw those different groups. So no, absolutely. I think that's what you look at, where it's so weird to me, the hate that the team gets, because there's people that are really here that are born and raised. It's not really like a bandwagon or type team where they've just been a front runner and you just jump on. You know, we can be mad at the Warriors, right? Because the Warriors historically weren't like the Lakers or the Celtics, and then everyone became Warriors fans when that dynasty started. So I get that. That's a bandwagon, right? But that's not the Dodgers, right?
No.
They're blue gang.
Yeah. So. That's really kind of the crux of it that I think is amazing.
Yeah.
And why I love being a part of that, right?
Absolutely.
Like no matter if you're sitting like in the highest seats or you're sitting in the lowest seats, right? It is a family. I know I'm straight up in people's family pictures from the World Series.
Oh yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where, I kind of wanted to kick everything off while we're talking and hanging out, because we all went to game 1 together.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, the best baseball game I have ever been to.
Oh, the best ever. Like that's ever existed.
The single greatest night of my life.
Yeah, 100%. I legit FaceTimed my wife and told her this was the greatest night of my life.
Right. It was close to me FaceTiming my ex-wife.
Yeah.
And being like, this could have been you here at World Series Game 1.
Yeah.
But you're not.
I'm 37 and I don't think I've ever exuded emotion the same way I did when Freddie hit that grand slam.
Yeah, that's
I don't think I've ever felt like that.
So let's back up a little bit, because that's what happened to end the night.
Yeah, for sure.
But like from your perspective, Brandon, game 1, like obviously we all mob out there together.
Yeah.
Kind of what was your takeaway from really kind of hitting that first game?
Man, I think the thing is for super fortunate reasons, I have friends that are within the Dodgers organization, so it isn't the first time I've been to a playoff game. And I've been to Dodger Stadium, I don't know how many times. Right. And every time feels like the first time. That sounds mad corny. Right? That sounds like everything. But for real though, like I think there's such an energy going into the stadium, because you see some of the same people. You get to know the parking lot attendants. You get to see, even some of the same fans that have season tickets that sit in the same area, right? And obviously the celebrity side of it too. So I think I was at the playoff game when the Nationals beat us. Right. And when Kershaw gave up all those hits, and I think it was, who was it that hit? It was a former Dodger. I'm looking right at his face. I'm looking right at his face. Oh, it was Howie Kendrick.
Oh, Howie Kendrick, that's right.
It was Howie Kendrick. And that season before, I thought it was the dopest thing that Kendrick Lamar came out and threw the first pitch, and they had jerseys, and he had Kendrick's jersey. And I was like, yo, that was so dope. Like, and then Howie, I think, got crazy the game. So I was at that game, and I was upstairs in like the media, social media room or something. And I think the Dodgers were up. I think we were up a bunch. Yeah. And we like, I think they had started to roll like champagne down in, and folks were moving around to do post-game interviews. So by the time I get from the suite level to downstairs, all this happens. And I see like some of the families and players' wives crying because they know that their season is over, and it ends just like that. The human side of it. And guys that were on 1-year contracts weren't sure what they were going to do. I saw people throwing Kershaw jerseys. Like, that's the worst energy I've ever felt at Dodger Stadium. Yeah. I say all that to say, Game Series 1 felt like some type of, I don't even know. It felt like some microcosm of all of those bad times where we didn't think something magical was going to happen when we absolutely needed it to happen. Right. Game 1 of the World Series, when Freddie hits that. Like, the count, I don't even know what the count was. Right?
It was first pitch.
Right? Like, we were down how many runs?
One. Like, we gave up that extra run in the top of the 10th.
Yeah. I mean, just like true magic. Like, that's how that felt. Like, the energy I felt at the worst in Dodger Stadium and the most electric in that moment, I'm just like, I don't know who else has experienced that, but to see people like crying, I'm like, yo, we just lost. Like, no one died, but that's how it felt.
Right.
That's how it felt. And seeing the other side of it is seeing the players and some of the players' wives and families and how they're being affected by that.
Yeah.
And I think the everyday fan just doesn't see that. These players hear that. Kersh hears that. He sees people burning his kids see that. Right? It's tough. But then to see the other side of it, when Freddie and Freddie's wives and then like Freddie's kids, and then that moment when Freddie goes up to the backstop and sees his dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, crazy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and I like how you said that, because honestly, I mean, as a fan, when you think about the run that we've had for the last 7 years, right? Astros stealing it, Boston stealing it, right?
Them cheaters, bro.
Like coming to Arizona in 23.
Don't even count.
And getting mollywopped, right?
Not even Steve. That don't count. Whatever y'all did, Steve is over there. We're not even acknowledging Steve right now.
You know.
Let y'all have that.
They didn't win the World Series, so it doesn't
that's like when you let your girl win, like the argument, or your wife win, just so you can leave me alone.
Yeah, but it was crazy because this was like that exercising of all of that energy, right? And that was, I mean, it was crazy build up, just even to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were talking about it, and shout out Robert, who's not here with us.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still like alive. We're not saying
Bob.
Like,
Shout out to Bobby. He just got back from Florida doing his thing.
Yeah.
Follow at Robert Dortch on Instagram.
He, you know, legit, that dude probably bought 15 different tickets trying to get in that night.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, just it was kind of just this buildup, right?
Yeah.
Even starting from something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, just as, you know, as a fan my entire life, like the crack of that whole 10th inning.
Yeah.
Like 2 runners getting on, everybody now just waiting for Shohei.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I've got, you know, my footage of Shohei.
Yeah.
And that first swing of the bat, and it's a foul ball that gets out. I mean, you literally felt like the whole stadium come down. And then just the crack of that bat from Freddie's home run.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just seeing it, and we were sitting on the first base side, and it went out of right field.
Yeah.
That explosion.
Yeah.
Because I think by that time you had already made your way down.
We're downstairs.
Yeah, you were downstairs.
And at that point, I was like, okay, well, either we're going to be a lady with George is going to cry, you know, over back to where they're selling drinks at. But,
And I will say, I didn't yell. I was screaming.
Yeah, no, it was crazy work.
Like a little girl. Like it was crazy.
Listen, like I understand that these professional athletes and entertainers, whatever you want to call them, get paid a lot of money. But talk about like all the emotion that we're invoking. Like I don't even like Steve like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I got beef with him because of the team that he likes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for real. So obviously I'm joking. But then there's also the serious side of it. We do hear about these very serious things that happen in the parking lots with Giants fans, right?
Right.
Like how crazy is that to where people, it's that serious. Like we're Bloods and Crips out here because you got orange and blue on. So when I understand when people say these athletes get paid, you know, too much, if you understand the economics and the business side of it, you would understand that some of these folks are actually underpaid. Like, you know what I mean? Like for the jerseys and the merch and the retail and the likenesses and all these other things.
Right.
But, you know, for Freddie to hit that home run, like how many Freeman jerseys do you think they showed? You see that one girl who was at the parade that was like, I'm naming my daughter or kid, whatever, Freddie.
Again, it was crazy. And it's the human side of it too.
Absolutely.
Where like, you know, Freddie's talked about it, how like he and his dad didn't say anything. They just like yelled and screamed at each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think about like I coach my son's t-ball.
Yeah.
Right. And to see that and to understand, you know, throwing, you know, teaching your kid how to play catch.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not saying I wish my son would hit a game winning walk-off grand slam, but to think about that as a dad, like could you imagine being on the other side of that fence?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And it's your son and like you share that moment. Like it's not like anything I would ever experience. I tell everybody while we were leaving our seats where Javen and I were sitting, this dude comes up to me and his little boy had on like a split jersey and it was like half Yankees, half Dodgers.
Sure.
And he was like, "Can you take a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah." I thought like maybe with his wife who was in a Yankees jersey. He was like, No. Me, you, and my kid. I'm straight up holding this dude's kid and taking a picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like I mean, these people's photo album for something, right?
Yeah.
But it was just that build up and that release that was just insane. I don't know if I'll ever experience anything like that again.
Yeah.
And so
it was unlike it. I don't go to a lot of live sporting events. We went to the Kobe Day last season.
Yeah.
right.
That was the first time I had been to Dodger Stadium, probably 15 years or so.
Wow.
At least.
Right.
I don't know if once we moved here, if as a family we ever went. So it could be 20 years since I had been there. So I've been twice in the last 2 seasons. Very different games, very different outcomes.
Yeah.
But to be back in a stadium that looks exactly the same to me as an adult as it did when I was a kid, and we have pictures on field with Darryl Strawberry and all that, and the seat colors are all the same. To be sitting where we were with you, with our cousin who is a hardcore Yankees fan. I was telling Steve, and I've told a few people, like, when Freddie hit that, I immediately like hugged my cousin because I knew she was going through it.
Yeah.
And so like I hugged her.
She was a Yankees fan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah, because remember everybody was yelling at her.
Oh, that's
on
right. I was
set.
like, she was wilding. Yeah, she was wilding.
And so like, and I hadn't seen her in a while anyway. And so like I was hugging her, and she told us the next day when we were having breakfast, she's like, all I could think of when you were hugging me was just like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And just like the amount and variety of emotions for everybody. Real. Like I probably won't experience something like that again
until we win the World Series this year. What you talking about? Until this guy will come in November.
And even then, like for me, that's still an entirely different thing, right? Like watching them clinch the way that they did was one thing.
Yeah.
But feeling all of the things I felt in, and I remember when the bases were loaded. Just that whole half inning, I was talking to my cousin. I was like, what if we hit a walk-off?
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen that first. Like, well, what if we just hit like any kind of walk?
But like all of that was such a microcosm of like how similar that was to Gibby.
Right. Yeah.
Like, come on. Like what are we doing right now? Like, how is that even, like, you couldn't have even probably scripted all of this any better.
No.
Right?
And that's the craziest part for me is obviously you have all the experience you have at Dodger Stadium. You've been there more than I have and seen and gone through that kind of stuff too. But like for me, having had that kind of an opportunity to be there, that I am beyond appreciative of.
Yeah.
For that to happen, I don't know if anything will ever play itself out to be those types of situations. To you walk Mookie, bases loaded, and I'm just like, please,
but here's
please.
I think
let
that's
it
what
happen.
happens with the Dodgers, because I think you can look at Game 5 and look at all those errors that the Yankees made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is it always these perfect microcosms of like from Gibby's walk off to even up until now? And we've had a bunch of misfortune, right? To the 2020 World Series, right? To being the most ridiculous, weird in a bubble. Maybe didn't count. The city. Then the Lakers won at the same time too. Yeah. Right. And then when
I almost went 3 for 3 that year.
Right. So I'm saying, like, that's what I'm saying when you have a sports town like that, like. This is why there's sometimes like, you gonna go to the Dodgers game? I'm like, nah, something might happen.
Right.
Yeah. Like, you gonna go Lakers? Like, I don't know. LeBron might go for a triple-double and 14 rebounds last night.
Right.
Like, and I think that's what an LA sports team, and I'll say this, I think the Dodgers brass, shout out to all the people in the front office, and not even just now. I think historically, from Jackie Robinson to this day, they've always pushed the envelope to be this type of organization, which is why you have that with this team. The other teams, like the teams in Arizona, don't necessarily have. So just saying.
And that's a great point. And I think it really like kind of carries us into like when you start thinking about the 2024 season.
Absolutely.
Right. Shohei signs.
Come on.
Right. First and foremost, everybody understands like these business decisions were made not just by the Dodgers, but by Shohei. Right.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing that carry through. Like this man wins his first World Series after being isolated out in Anaheim.
Couldn't have worked out any better.
They were in LA.
And LA, Anaheim, close.
Listen.
But now we see the plan coming to fruition.
Yeah.
Right. So this is where we start getting all the hate now. right
now.
Now, right?
What do you mean? Like the Red Sox gave us Mookie Betts, and then what happens in Mookie's first year here?
Yep.
Right,
2020.
The
baby.
Angels do whatever the Angels do, which is whatever the Angels do.
Right,
waste talent at the highest of levels, and then in his first year, Shohei comes over here, and so that's why I say when you look at all these free agent signings, why wouldn't you want to sign with the Dodgers?
Right.
They've literally just proven that they can take, amazing talent from terrible situations, and they can win like this.
Yeah. And that's like, so I think it was Tyler Glasnow was doing an interview recently where he was talking to Roki and basically told him, like, if you want to come to an organization that's going to focus on making you the best pitcher, this is the place to be.
If you don't want your executive producer, all in the videos,
with
dancing, right? Come to Dodger Row Records. What you talking about?
100%.
Minus the baby oil. Pause. But no, for real. Like I think that when you establish that level of excellence, you attract the top talent. So if your organization doesn't do that in NL West or any other teams, right? Obviously the Yankees. Why, Juan Soto? You're already on the Yankees. Why would we even questioning to leave? The Yankees got that money.
Same reason he was on the Padres,
right?
And dipped,
right? You want to go to where you're going to be treated how dudes want to be treated today. This is a players' league now. It really is a players' league. Yeah. So I think you see that, and nobody has high aspirations for the Mets. I think they'll be good, right?
Yeah.
But like, and Juan Soto knows that. Word. So I think when you really look at it, that perfect microcosm of everything we've talked about is the reason why the Dodgers are where they are, and they have super smart people who are making business baseball decisions,
right?
But listen, and also too, they haven't always been that way.
Oh yeah, like let's be honest.
They haven't always been that way.
Right.
Let's not forget the McCourt years, right? The 2011, 2012s, right? Even if you look at my man Magic Johnson.
I don't remember anything.
Right.
I try to block it out, Brandon.
Right.
My recent Dodger history or memory just starts in like 2019.
2017.
No, 2017.
Yeah, but I mean, back in those days, the Dodgers had to borrow money from MLB to make payroll.
Yep.
Because of whatever was going on behind the scenes. And then you bring in a group that includes Magic Johnson and a great ownership group in front office, and they turn him into a champion. And then you look at Magic Johnson, he's literally doing the same thing with the Washington Commanders.
Right.
The Commanders were straight garbage forever under the previous owner. You come in, you pluck a first-year rookie. So I think the similarities in some of these things, you can't even deny it these days.
Yeah, and you get to culture and development of that. Sure. And that's the biggest thing, right? Because when we think about like all of these free agent signings, and I want to get into that here in just a minute, they could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about these deferral things as if it's something new. Like the Dodgers are just making the right moves at the right time and pitching people on winning baseball.
Absolutely.
And a winning culture. And so like, so I kind of want to talk a little bit about, some of these free agent signings and what we kind of think about and kind of what our projections are for 2025, wish lists that we might have as fans. So Javen, you kind of got the move so far. So kind of break down some of the latest free agent signings for us.
So obviously the big one
that
everybody was waiting for was Roki.
Oh yeah.
And I love everything coming out now about the process and about, there was, what was the, he's like a reporter who was the first to come out and say that it's going to be investigated by the MLB. And it got shot down.
Well, let him investigate. Let him investigate.
Right.
Let him investigate.
And just the fact that that's what everybody views as one of the most unfair when literally everybody had a chance.
Oh yeah, up top.
Literally everybody. He's making. He got his $6.5 million signing bonus, and his salary is $750 next season, and then it goes up like $10,000 or $100,000
because Shohei walked so Roki could win.
Right,
we defer these deals.
Right.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Afterpay.
Right. You know what I'm saying? For real. 100%. Yo, Afterpay sponsor us. For real.
Like, one of my favorite things that's come out. Well, it was in Roki's press conference when he said that like one of the first things he wants to do is try an American cheeseburger or an American hamburger. I'm all for it. Like that to me is like one of the coolest things that came out of his press conference.
Look,
was hilarious. That and his dog socks.
Yeah.
Dog socks.
Yeah, his socks that he was wearing, he had his blue suit.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
So he was wearing like blue socks, which I have a pair for my dog, and then his dog's face on them.
Oh, that's on gang.
Yeah.
That's gang.
Yeah. It's like those are the two coolest things, obviously not baseball related.
Yeah.
But just the fact that you could get somebody like that everybody had a chance. And he said it too in that press conference was he wanted to enjoy this part of the process in picking somewhere that he wanted to be. Because you won't get that again more than likely. You know, especially for a first time coming into something like this. Because if you get into the draft, which that's a whole separate conversation, as a 23-year-old coming from any international market, if you're not getting drafted, like you don't get to do that again.
But can we say one thing though? Like I feel like those over international jerseys, they're just terrible looking.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like I think those jerseys are trash. Like I feel like the Dodgers have the coldest uniforms in the game. Like they're just clean.
Yeah.
It's so clean. So like I feel like Roki came over here just so he could
You know what I'm
saying?
get
away from those horrible. Yeah. I mean, and again, this goes back to the whole thing of everybody had a chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like and then it kind of goes into, the second big free agent signing for them. I don't know. I say this is
I don't know if we're ranking them yet. Yeah.
It might be the third. But Tanner Scott, like when we break that down,
you said that's the second?
Well, the second biggest. Because I mean, maybe you could go Blake Snell was the second biggest.
I'm gonna go Blake was the biggest.
You think Blake was the biggest?
Who over Blake? Who over Blake?
I'd probably say Blake 1, Roki 2.
You think so?
Yeah. I go Blake.
Because Blake's a beast, and we know what
these are ones. We have 5 starters.
5 ones.
Yeah, we got 5 ones.
Stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 5 ones?
If everybody were healthy to start the season, it's like a 9-man rotation.
Matter. That's the point. We don't need everybody healthy to start the season. We can ride 3 of these dogs. So I think
I tell everybody, we won the World Series with 2.5 starting pitchers.
Yeah, stop.
Yeah, one of them being Jack Flaherty.
Right. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I get you, man, Jack. Like, man, I feel it. But 5 ones?
Yeah.
Right. With Ohtani? Come on now. But I think I'm going to go Blake number 1. Honestly, I might go Tio number 2. The re-signing of Teoscar, like
my biggest one is yet to happen, so that's coming. Kike, man,
bro, Enrique, the Puerto Rican Poppy, Enrique comes back, bro.
I've been waiting.
Enrique gonna come back as the janitor, bro. We're just gonna let him slide in. Forget the salary cap or whatever.
Yeah. It's it's one of those things. Like for me, I feel Roki's number 1, just because when you think about long-term stuff, this dude is now locked up for 4 to 6 years.
For sure.
6 years.
Even with arbitration, to where he's 22 years old.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? After that, I kind of go back and forth between Blake Snell or Tanner Scott. Because...
we need... Yeah, for sure.
Because that bullpen...
Yeah, absolutely.
we did lose, like, Daniel Hudson retired.
Yeah.
That was the leader of that room, right?
Yeah.
Kopech is great role player. But when you think about, like, Tanner Scott...
He's dealing with his injury.
Yeah, he's still dealing with an injury. Tanner Scott, dude, San Diego traded major pieces for him.
Bro, what did the Padres do? Like, what did y'all be doing down there in San Diego?
They've spent $0.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, and when they do spend,
and
it's
they just lost Profar.
Yeah, and they just lost Profar.
I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what do you do? Like, I feel like they back the truck up and I don't know. I feel like they're the mini Angels kind of sometimes, like where you stockpile, these amazing talents and then like
and give them PEDs.
Yeah, and you're mid. You're like, you know what I mean? Like Manny does his thing sometimes.
Yeah, Tatis does his thing sometimes.
He makes me so mad.
Yeah. Who?
Tatis, because it's like every time he hits the ball, I'm just like, oh, come on, man.
But listen, his Jordan game is real nice. Though. I'm not confronting that though. Like,
his
Jordan game is second to Mookie's.
Okay, I was gonna say, are we gonna place who we put in 1 or 2?
Come on, bro.
Sans the Dodger side.
What?
Who do you think has the better shoe game?
What you talking about? It's MB, right? What you mean?
I would agree, just because I think they're cleaner.
Yeah, like his color schemes, like the Padre Jordans, like they look like UPS ones. Like because the Padre colors, they're brown and yellow.
Right.
Like I hate that color. Every Padre jersey, I'm like, and that little Friar Tuck thing. What is that? What does that do to that little? Is that what that? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that's
what fathers look like.
Yeah.
What kind of father is that? I'm a father. I don't look like that.
That's the old timey Spanish bishops.
That's what I'm saying. Why would you put that in your jersey? San
Diego.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah.
Hashtag UPS ones. Those are.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Those
UPS
are
ones. That's what for Tatis be looking like. He be in those. Anyway, let's not talk about it.
Back to free agents.
Yeah.
Signings and losses.
Yeah, but Tanner Scott, I think, is again just that microcosm of San Diego tried to get him.
Yeah.
Hope they could show him a good culture, winning, blah 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 blah.
For sure.
That dude stayed waiting and chose the Dodgers.
I mean, look at all these guys. I mean, Blake, Diego, although he got DFA'd. Yeah, Bruce Starr, Anthony Banda taking 1 year, $1 million.
Yeah,
like
that. The whole that section right there, right? We had Blake Trinan, Kopech, Bruce Starr, Banda, and Phillips
for like $11 million combined.
Yeah,
maybe not.
Maybe then to bring in, because one of them's what 5'2". Yeah, Trinan got his deal. But then you bring in Tanner, potentially Kirby, as soon as his physical goes through.
Yeah.
But like, that's a solid core. Okay, but and that's just the people that were up to be re-signed.
Tell me this, in your opinion. Look at these deals.
Mm-hmm.
Look at these dudes. How many of these dudes do you think could have got more money and more years?
Every single one of them.
Everywhere else.
Michael Conforto, we just signed him just to sign him.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, yo, Dodger haters, the people that, contribute to this, will take a pay cut to go win. If I have an opportunity to make $10, $20 million for my family, I'll take 5.
Right.
That sounds like crazy work. Sounds like crazy work. I mean, there's no way.
100%.
I would go play for the Padres. I go play for the Diamondbacks, $25 million. What you talking about?
Now,
right now today.
With the insight that you have, is there any word on Honeywell? Is he out? Obviously, he didn't get an offer. He is a free agent.
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I think this next couple of weeks will be interesting to see what happens.
Because catchers and pitchers start in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So
I just miss his turtlenecks.
Yeah.
It's a throwback, man. Shout out Roger the Dodger McDowell and his constant turtlenecks back in the 90s.
Yeah. No, I think obviously the Dodgers aren't done.
Yeah.
There's still a handful of things that need to happen over the next little bit here. But listen, we could be done.
If we were.
We could be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like have we said anything about Kershaw? Right?
Yeah.
And I, honestly, at this point, he's Rajon Rondo. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. At this point, he's Udonis Haslem.
Yeah.
Right? You keep that champion, you keep that, that homer on your squad to help the rest of these guys out. Right?
Yep.
So
I mean, he's guaranteed a statue.
Oh yeah, off top.
That's happening. And I mean, that dude is a glue guy that can help, especially. I mean, when you look at it, Yamamoto's what, 25?
Yeah.
Roki's 22.
It's dumb.
We got young pitchers.
See you in 2040.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I mean, listen, like Mookie said, everybody get in line because we're adding more.
Yeah. And shout out to Dave Roberts too. I don't think he gets enough, he gets a lot of hate. I think sometimes because of the decisions that he makes, but come on now, he's a 2-time World Series champion in the last 5, you know what I mean?
So looking at the list, right? Obviously we've talked about a few of them, but of people who have not re-signed, we have Joe Kelly, Kike, Kersh. What are the odds that all 3, or at least we know Kersh is coming? That's just whenever it is that happens, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm confident that Kike will be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think for sure Kershaw's coming back in some form or fashion, right? I'd love to see Kike come back because I think he's such a glue guy.
Absolutely.
Teo is also that glue guy that is now he can move to that everyday right fielder now that Mookie's at short.
Yeah.
Joe Kelly is kind of one of those ones where I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he's great in spots, but he and Kersh have been hit by injuries, right? Yeah. But it's kind of funny. I mean, Joe Kelly literally came out and said, if the Dodgers don't sign me, I retire.
Yeah. Look at this. I think there's a fan side of us here, right? And then there's the business side, and there's the guy side of it, right?
Yep.
These guys are on windows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's February almost, right? So like if you say, hey, you have an opportunity to make this door, and it's only open for 20 days. This door is 20 million. This door is 2 million. But this door, we can guarantee you, I don't know, right? Some, obviously a World Series or whatever else.
Right.
How long does Kike hang out?
Yeah.
Kike's in a different situation than Joe. Joe's older.
Right.
Right. Get your money. I think for a lot of these dudes, you got to get your bag. Once you get, especially some of those dudes that already got rings. If I got a ring already, I don't know,
Yeah.
But I'd much rather have an extra 30 million.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, with a lot of it, I think it just shows, especially these older guys that were willing to wait, their desire to go stack chips now.
Yeah.
Right. And, I again, a throw out there too, like, I would love to have Justin Turner re-sign a Dodger and retire out as a Dodger.
Of course.
Yeah. Like he was
and he will probably.
He was one of those dudes that we brought in that again goes back to development, culture. Nobody knew who JT was. Yeah. And now, I mean, you've seen it. Yeah. Like that dude is loved in LA.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, Justin played with one of my homeboys in New York when he was with the Mets, and I think he was kind of a guy that played sparingly if someone got hurt. Yeah. And for him to develop into like the player that everyone believed him to be, like, and materialize.
Yep.
You can't beat that. But I think that's just it, man. Like when you look at it, like we're such fans and we want this for our team and we want the team to be perfect. Like we want Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp to come back and
come out,
you know what I mean? Like and still be young and do all those things. Like, but a lot of these guys have to really look at their opportunities based upon their bodies too.
Yeah.
Like we don't know how Kike's, and Kike balled last year.
Yeah.
He balled. So his free agent value may be the highest it may be for the last time.
Right.
He ain't 25.
Yeah.
So if I'm Kike, go get your 2-year 50 from somewhere.
Yep.
And if we can't do that, like go get your bag and then play terribly so they cut you and then we could bring you back. You know what I mean?
Listen, shout out Kike and look, better postseason numbers than Aaron Judge. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, look, we brought Matt Kemp back, right?
Yeah.
Those years that Matty got traded to San Diego, then Atlanta, and then somewhere else. And by the time he came back to the Dodgers, like 4 other teams were paying his paycheck.
Yeah.
Gang. And then he balled out that one year, and I think he was an all-star.
Yeah.
So like there's no reason why Kike already came back.
Right.
Right.
So
the last signing that I wanted to mention to get thoughts on is Tommy Edman.
Oh, yeah.
Because when he came over last season, he was coming off of injury or injured.
Yeah. He was technically still injured when he came over, yeah. And
so for him to perform the way that he did, win the NLCS MVP, to then be able to get the contract he got, I think that is taking someone from another team that,
5 years, 74?
Yeah.
Get your bag, Toms. I know that's right.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's just another case of not that the Cardinals didn't want him, but someone that they thought that they could trade and they go. And as far as I know, I'm not aware. I didn't look up the details of that deal, but it's not like there was a lot given up.
I feel like this, like when players come to the Dodgers, they always get better.
Yeah.
And when players leave here, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2, they're just not the same.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a thing, but I've literally looked into that. I'm like, when they leave the Dodgers, they're just like, meh. Was it the team around them that made them good? Like, look at, I think Seager's the exception.
Yeah.
Because he balled.
Yeah.
Right. But Belly?
Jock? Because like we talk about Jock a lot, right? Like Jock.
Jock's on his 800s team.
Right. Yeah. But he's not. He's also not the position player he was.
Yeah. Jock's a baller though.
When he was with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But as a DH and clutching his pearls,
he rakes.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is a whole thing about the Dodger way and the team that's built there, the team outside of the team on the field.
Sure.
Right. Where that's a secret sauce.
Yeah.
Right. That's what makes moves. That's Andrew Friedman gives back to us as fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. By investments and all of that stuff. And so where do you guys see? Obviously, we're all saying it's unanimous World Series, right? That's our prediction, right?
I don't see how like another respectful flood or something, some other natural stuff is gonna have to happen in the city.
Yeah.
Like for real.
So I wanted to throw this out for predictions on how many wins, how many home runs Shohei gets as his first year pitching and DHing.
don't know if I care about his hitting stats. I just want.
We all know he loves to pitch more than he loves to hit,
which is just bananas.
How is that? How is that? What is like Steph Curry's like? I like to rebound more than I
This is the thing I do that I like the least, but I'm gonna hit 50 home runs.
Yeah, I'm the greatest at this, but
I'm gonna start the 50-50 club.
Yeah.
And it's been so long since I've seen Shohei pitch, I almost forget.
Right.
Because it's been like 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost. Like not this past season
so
or whatever.
It's like, first of all, how much do we think he's actually gonna pitch though? That's the kicker. Because he's not gonna start the year available.
I think he'll pitch 20 games.
Okay.
This year.
On a 6-man rotation?
On a 6-man rotation. My prediction is he's going to pitch 20, he's going to win 15, and he's going to hit 45 home runs.
No, I think he gets 50 again.
I think he goes.
I think he gets 50 again.
I think he could.
I think like this is one of those years where everyone's like, oh, that was a fluke year. Right. And he's going to be like, listen, I'm from LA now. I got to pop out and show. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, I feel like he might just actually act a fool and hit 50 home runs.
Agreeing that he pitches 20 games, I'm going to say he wins 12.
Okay. What was his last season?
So
his last full season pitching.
His last full season pitching.
And granted, that was AL, whatever.
Right. He was like 13 wins.
So let's take a look here. According to the stats.
Yeah, like.
I'm putting him 40 plus homers.
Not a 50 piece. Okay.
He did it already. I don't think he needs to prove it again. Because if he hits, let's say he does 40-40.
Sure. Yeah, kills.
And he pitches and wins 12 plus games.
That's the ridiculousness. Yeah, I know. I know. Isn't it dumb? Like, it's dumb being a Warriors fan where you're just so used to these gaudy, ungodly stats.
So in 2022, he pitched 28 games and he won 15.
Okay.
23, he started 23 games and won 10.
Okay.
With an ERA of 2.3 in 22.
2.6.
And 3.1 in 23.
Wow.
But that's also like that's the injury year.
And you play for the Angels. Like, how are you getting excited to go to work?
100%.
I got to go out here and lose every time. Let me just do this and not get hurt.
Yeah.
And still got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So
my prediction for Shohei, at least, I'll say 12 games, win 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's if he pitches 20. And then he'll go 40-40.
Yeah. And he might even, I got to say, with our staff, 20 games is just right.
Yeah.
If the other guys or some younger guys can go 22, 25 games, I think that's the biggest trick, right? Yeah. And when we do all these signings and have this rotation, like, we got to give Dave Roberts some love. Like, how do you manage all this?
Right.
You got to really sit down and schedule yourself and then take into account injuries and everything else that happens with the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And keep it moving.
Yeah.
Like, because again, we're dealing with a team of ones.
Yeah. Oh, can we stop? We had no mention this whole time of no Walker Buehler. We've said no Buehler talk at all.
I've had to block it because it hurt.
Yeah, for sure. I thought about that too. Because I was like, what are the Dodgers left and they get better? And I was like, we didn't even talk about Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
He better not go ball out neither.
I know.
Come get that, bro. Listen.
Well, it's a 1-year deal.
It's a 1-year deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
but again, going back to that whole thing of like,
that'd be nasty work if they next year. Just come on, bro. Like, even I would be like, all right already. Like, just skip the season.
But it's one of those things like with Walker. We know the injury history.
Yeah.
Like, sure. I give him huge props for balling out at the World Series.
Yeah.
Forcing himself into the position.
Him and his wife got robbed the day of a game of his start.
Right.
What?
And
you getting jacked in the city?
Yeah. And to flip that into, a good contract for him.
Absolutely.
Like, it's sad.
Yeah.
Like, I was even sad with Gavin Lux being traded.
Man.
Like, that's just our core kind of moving away.
I'm going to share a photo of the day that Gavin Lux got called up, the day he signed, and the day he did an interview at Dodger Stadium. I was there, and there was it's a photo of it, but he looked like Dennis the Menace.
Right.
Like, his cheeks were mad rosy with his blonde hair. I was like, this kid plays baseball? Or he's like an actor?
I saw some pictures of him in his Drillers stuff. Yeah. And it's the same thing. Like,
and then 2 years later, he was yoked. I was like, yo, why are you so yoked up? Like, who?
Yeah.
My name's Gavin.
The only one that I could say that I know left the Dodgers and balled out, Jason Worth. When he left and went to Washington, he had some good years.
Man, that was just his hair.
Just the caveman effect.
Yeah, that boy had that Samson or whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so one last prediction. Fan favorite, one of our favorites, Mookie Betts, moving over to shortstop.
Man, let Mookie do whatever he wanted to do. He's gonna
Right.
ball out. Whatever Mookie want to pitch, let him get in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's
If
not
Kike
catch him.
gets to,
Yeah.
Mookie should get to every once in a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like just watching some of the stuff from him, taking practice at shortstop, like I think that's such a great move for him now because
Yeah.
he moved. It's that captain position.
Yeah.
Like that he's running that show. Like I can't think of a better.
He was so good in the outfield, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you're taking our leader, like our de facto. I don't even want to say de facto. Like Dave Roberts is our head coach, right? He's a
for
great
sure.
head manager, right? But Mookie is that leader for us now.
But
Like,
how about that though, right? How about someone who could be the star or is the star on the other teams and all these guys, not having an ego? Let's just say like the team in LA, like it's a California, it's a Los Angeles, you can say it's a Hollywood team.
Right.
But the players themselves,
Right.
like Shohei is just like such a nice dude. Like he seems just like you want
Right.
if you could have a real conversation with him.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That culture, right? And Mookie's such a nice dude who's a baller, bowler, basketball player, and all the other stuff. So like, yeah.
And Freddie Freeman.
Come on now.
Like Frederick,
Yeah.
like the man.
Yeah.
If he wasn't playing baseball, he'd be an accountant, right?
yeah,
like-
Federico.
Like these are all the things that I think I'm just super excited about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that journey, that process, and part of each episode that we have is going to be talking about that journey, the process, the things that go into that. I think it's such a prime opportunity for us to bring this culture to so many other people.
Yeah.
To really dive deep into what it means to be a Dodger fan, to be part of the organization, to look at how decisions are being made and really analyze those things in a way that not everybody's doing.
Sure.
Like I'm excited for some super dope stuff that we have. Like don't want to talk about everything yet, but I'm super excited for it. Brandon, dude, why don't you take us out, bro? Kind of what are you excited about? What are you stoked? And take us out, homie.
This is a great opportunity, I think, for everybody, for the everyday fan, for the casual person, for the person who doesn't understand the behind the scenes and know that these are all real jobs for everyone, right? Even for people that commentate on it. And then everything we started the theme with, just the emotion that this evokes. I think that we're probably, not to get anything of a greater sense, but this allows people to be together.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're separated by so many other things, and if we got to be separated, cool, be a Giants fan, right? But we're still talking about the same sport that we care about, right? We still want to see like I need the Giants, like I need somebody to be my rival. So yeah, really excited to really go down this journey and do kind of an intimate dive into everything that's blue and talk all this Dodger 24/8.
Awesome, man. Peace.